America's pastime has been a part of the Vegas community for over 40 years. And as our city grew, so did the love of the game. Now, excitement is growing for our next home team. All season long, Fox 5 and the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network are covering athletics baseball on the field, in our community, as we build our future together. America's pastime will soon call the Valley home. Play ball, Las Vegas. This is Covering the Bases with the A's.
What's up, baseball fans? Welcome to a brand new show, the first ever Vegas show devoted strictly to athletics baseball. This is Covering the Bases with the A's. Mike Davis alongside Kevin Bollinger. Kevin, tell us what's on deck.
Well, we got a lot going on here today. Denzel Clarke putting on a show in his return home to Toronto. Plus, we're going to look ahead to the 3 games against the Baltimore Orioles. Our A's insider Jessica Kleinschmidt has an update on first baseman Nick Kurtz. And later, we go on the farm and hear from Aviators manager Fran Reardon. But before we break down the A's homestand versus the Minnesota Twins, we have an honor for the guy at short. Some exciting news for Major League Baseball. On Tuesday, A's rookie shortstop sensation Jacob Wilson voted American League Rookie of the Month for May. Well-deserved for the 23-year-old who's hitting .355 with 7 homers and 32 RBI and is second in hits in the big leagues with 81.
Yeah, Wilson became the first A's rookie to win a monthly award since his teammate Zach Geloff won back in August 2023. He's been a huge bright spot for this team during a really massive month of May for him, recording his 3rd career walk-off hit versus Seattle, mashing 2 home runs in his homecoming to Los Angeles. Now the A's shortstop is the leader in the clubhouse and a leader for AL Rookie of the Year. So Kevin, there's a lot of exciting development from the young studs on this A's roster, from Nick Kurtz to Denzel Clarke. But Jacob Wilson, I mean, this dude is just plain different. I mean, he's 3rd in the majors in batting average, 2nd in hits. Did anyone expect this type of production from Jacob Wilson this early on?
Well, I think that they certainly knew that he was capable, which is why he only played 79 games in the minor leagues before he was fast-tracked to the show. Wilson hit .411 in his final year at Grand Canyon before the A's drafted him. So it's just what he does. You know, we've talked about the fact that he is the son of a former big leaguer, Jack Wilson, who was also his high school coach. They had a complete hitting setup in their backyard. So, you know, he's got a lot of reps in there. The attention to detail, being a complete hitter at the plate, has been based on a ton of work to get to this point. And not only, as you said, is he the leading candidate to be the American League Rookie of the Year, but he's also the leading candidate to represent the A's at the All-Star Game next month.
Yeah, that would be a big deal for the rookie. Now, we're taping this on Wednesday, May 4th. Currently 2 games into a 4-game series against the Minnesota Twins. So in Game 1, a 6-run second inning for the Twins blew the game wide open. The A's fall 10-4. Twins center fielder Byron Buxton drove in a career-high 5 runs. It was another tough outing for ace Luis Severino.
And in Game 2, the Twins scored 10 runs once again. This time they take down the A's 10-3. Willie Castro going out of the yard twice for Minnesota.
But on the A's side, the major bright light in this series has been Lawrence Butler. On Tuesday, he went 2 for 5 with 2 hits and a run. Then on Monday, Butler was 2 for 2 with a homer, a double, and 3 walks, making it to base 5 times. Pretty crazy stuff for the 24-year-old outfielder. He's getting more and more confidence at the plate, and it's definitely shown. In March, he signed a 7-year, $65 million deal. So, Kev, Lawrence Butler is certainly heating up. What does he need to do, though, to take his game to even the next level?
Well, I think he has to just continue what he's been doing. It wasn't the fast start that Butler wanted this season, but he is one of the hardest working guys around. He stayed with the process, now starting to things go in his favor. He's hit safely in 8 of his last 10 games, 15 hits total in that time, and he's raised his batting average 22 points during those 10 games.
Okay, now the A's got 2 more versus the Twins before they welcome Baltimore. The probable pitchers for the Twins are Zebby Matthews and Bailey Ober. Now before the Twins, the A's had the tough task of 0 travel days as they trekked from Houston all the way north to Toronto. It was a tough series for the A's as they got swept, losing all 4 games. Thursday, the A's lost 12-0. Then Friday, the Bats got going a bit in a 7-11 loss with homers from Tyler Soderstrom and Shea Langeliers.
And on Saturday, the A's scored 7 again, but they lost a close one once again, 8-7. George Springer knocking 2 out of the park for the Jays. The ball was flying. The Blue Jays hit 4 home runs in that game. Meanwhile, the A's hit 3. Soderstrom hit another, his 12th of the year, and Brent Rooker crushed one to center, his 13th.
But the talk of the town was all about this guy, rookie Denzel Clarke, who put on a show in his first career MLB game in his hometown of Toronto, making plays in the field and at the plate. Let's start with Friday night. Here was the call from A's announcer, Jenny Kavanaugh.
A different look here. He puts a swing on it to center field. Denzel Clarke going back towards the wall and leaps up for the catch.
Oh my God!
Denzel Clarke showing off the speed and the Spider-Man skills back on his home turf.
Yeah, take a look at that. Clarke climbing the center field wall, robbing Alejandro Kirk of a home run. Would have been a 407-footer from Kirk, but the 25-year-old bringing it back in the yard. That, of course, was just the opening act for him.
Amazing stuff from Spider-Man right there. That's right. The next day, Clarke kept up the momentum, hitting his first career home run in the top of the second inning of Saturday's game. A towering 406-foot shot to left field, and according to Clarke, close to the same section he was sitting in when he attended his first Blue Jays game as a 6-year-old, Kevin. He said former Blue Jay Aaron Hill hit a walk-off homer that nearly hit him and his family. Clarke talked about that moment after the game.
Trying to get a good pitch to hit. Yeah, just ready for that fastball. He threw it to me, and then was able to put a good swing on it and hit it out. But yeah, looking back on it now, I guess it was a similar spot. Cool coincidence there, and yeah.
Yeah, what a coming home party for the A's number 5 overall prospect. A's reliever Mitch Spence, who was on the mound for that robbery, Kev, said, quote, "It was probably one of the greatest catches I've ever seen. After I gave up that hit, I was kind of like, oh crap. Then I look up and I see Spider-Man up on the wall." So now he's being compared to Spider-Man. That's pretty good stuff right there.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to get a nickname, you know, it can't be much better than that.
Hey. Well, I'm waiting for his invitation to the Avengers. But that moment right there was named the electric play of the week by the MLB. Now, Kevin, clearly Denzel Clarke is a great defensive player, but the question for him is really, can he make plays at the plate too? If he develops that part of his game, what type of ceiling does Clarke have?
Oh, we're talking difference maker, obviously. It all comes down to speed, not just getting on base, but what he can do afterwards. Speed, something that separates players, and Clarke certainly has the wheels. We've seen that in how he covers center field. That's going to allow him to beat out some infield singles at the plate, but also steal some bases. He had 36 stolen bases at Double-A Midland last year. So if you have a center fielder who can cover the ground in the outfield, get the production offensively at the plate, and then on the base paths, man, that opens a lot of doors for this club moving forward.
Okay, it's exciting stuff. We're congratulating Spider-Man Denzel Clarke. On deck, it's A's insider Jessica Kleinschmidt. She's going to join us virtually with an update on the recovery of stud rookie first baseman Nick Kurtz.
And before we hit the break, let's get in some A's trivia. As you might know, the A's have won 9 World Series and 15 pennants. Some of the greatest managers in baseball history are responsible for that success. Here are a few of them behind me here, but only one of them holds the all-time Major League record for wins by a manager. So which head man was it? Bob Melvin, Tony La Russa, Connie Mack, or Billy Martin? We got the answer right after the break.
You're watching Covering the Bases with the A's.
We're back with the answer to the question, which athletics manager holds the all-time Major League record for wins? I could forgive you for saying Tony La Russa. He's second all-time, actually. But Connie Mack is far and away in first place. Really, it's not close. La Russa, as successful as he was, landing at number 2 on the all-time list, is closer to 10th place than he is to Mack. So Mack, also named the Tall Tactician, spent 3 years as a player-manager for Pittsburgh in the 1890s. Then, a few years later, he took the head spot for the A's across the state in Philly. He was the first manager the A's ever had and the only one for the team's first 50 years of existence. We're going to learn a little bit more about Mack in our Green and Gold Throwback episode in a few minutes. For now, over to Kevin.
We're joined now by A's insider Jessica Kleinschmidt, and The big news, of course, has been Nick Kurtz on the IL. Any update on when he might be able to return to the lineup?
Yeah, it's hopeful. A's general manager David Force said recently, hopefully Nick can come back during the Angels series next week. They'll be in Anaheim. So hopefully getting that power bat and the consistent bat is going to hopefully shake some things up, because we know the loss column is, chock full of a lot of numbers right now.
Yeah, it's been a rough last month for the A's. You can see the frustration on the faces of this team. Now, take us inside the clubhouse. What's the chatter with these guys right now?
Yeah, you mentioned the frustration, and the reason why the frustration is there is because this team has so much talent, and so that part isn't the issue. It's kind of one of those things where after the starting pitching throws up a really good game, let's be honest. Severino's been great, Jeffrey Springs has been great, even JP Sears, when he has one of those one-offs, is still very consistent, and even Gunnar Hoagland's landed on the IL, so that's going to be kind of a question mark. But it's that bullpen. Once those guys come out of the bullpen, things you have to hold your breath a little bit. And it's sad, not to mention the fact that they blew like 19 to 20 games when they were in the lead at one point. They blew a lot of leads. And I think that's something that they're paying attention to. Lack of runners in scoring position continues to be the thorn in the side of those guys. But I think the hitting's been really, really good. It's just a matter of getting in the right situations.
Baseball is a long season, but with the way that May went, is it still too early to say that this team's really at a crossroads right now for this season?
It's an interesting question. I'm answering a lot of phone calls on the post-game show about some frustrated fans, and rightfully so. You could say either way, because I know for Mark Kotz, he had 17 years in the league, and he's very optimistic about, this takes some time, and you have a lot of young talent. And let's be honest, the first 3 weeks of the season kind of set a tone where we're thinking this team's going to be very successful, and they are individually. But right now, I wish I could give you a full answer, but I'm one of those people where I'm looking for the individual performances right now, and hopefully they can kind of, round out some of those edges and come together. They have such good chemistry, and they know what they need to work on. They're putting the minutia in, the little details to get better. So we're kind of standing back and thinking what's going to happen come June, July, and obviously with the trade deadline coming up, I'm worried that it's going to be a different tone. I was looking forward to gaining some guys to kind of shake some things up heading into postseason. I'm just worried it's going to be the opposite.
Yeah, something we're definitely going to want to keep an eye on. She is A's insider Jessica Kleinschmidt. Jess, thanks for the time.
Thanks for having me.
All right, coming up, we're going back in time to 1909, the first season the A's played in historic Sheeb Park. Green and gold throwback is after the break. Plus, a trip to the farm. Mariah Janos has more on the first place Las Vegas Aviators. And A's fans, don't miss your chance to send your favorite players to the All-Star Game in Atlanta. The 2025 Pro Spirit MLB All-Star ballot is officially open. Visit athletics.com/all-star to help get the A's to the A. The 2025 MLB All-Star Game is July 15th at Truist Park.
You're watching Covering the Bases with the A's.
Another week and another look back at the storied history of the A's. We're going back to Philadelphia again. We're coming off the 1905 season when the A's played in the second ever World Series. They lost it, but thanks in large part to their iconic manager, they wound up building something very special. After the high of winning their second American League pennant in only 5 years of existence and the low of losing the World Series that followed, the A's had some problems to solve, one of which was their ballpark. The team was just too popular for the old Columbia Park. They had to turn away people who wanted to come to see them play because they just didn't have room. It was also made of wood, and lots of ballparks built that way caught fire. So, in 1909, the A's opened a brand new kind of ballpark, the first ever steel and concrete build. It was called Shibe Park after the team's owner, and on top of way more seating than their old park and less flammability, it was a palace of baseball with ornate garnishes on the outside walls like terracotta engravings of bats, balls, even catcher's masks, and cartouches above the entrances framing the team's logo. Every park built after Shibe for the next several years was modeled after it, from Fenway Park in Boston to Wrigley Field in Chicago. Neither of those iconic parks would have existed if the A's hadn't blazed the trail first. Shive Park was an immediate hit, drawing a sellout for the first game and helping the A's lead the American League in attendance. It didn't hurt that the team won 95 games that year, good for second in the American League. Leading the charge for the team was their 46-year-old manager, Connie Mack, also known as the Tall Tactician. This was his 9th year managing the A's, and get this, he still had 41 more years left in him, including 7 more pennants on top of the 2 he had already won. Now, despite already having a lot of success and building the most promising young team in the majors by 1909, Mack and the A's still had not won baseball's biggest prize, the World Series. They would get a good shot at it the next year, though. I'll tell you about that on next week's edition of Green and Gold Throwback. Mariah, to you.
Life on the farm is going pretty well for the Las Vegas Aviators, sitting atop the Pacific Coast League standings, with high-caliber homegrown talent propelling the team to be on pace for its best season since becoming the Athletics affiliate in 2019. In the last month, we've seen Aviators standouts like Willie McIver, Logan Davidson, Drew Avens, just to name a few, get called up to bolster the Athletics lineup, and they are delivering, which once again speaks to the standard the Aviators have set within their clubhouse. Despite losing the best talent on the roster to the Bigs, the Aviators continue to deliver and remain the team to beat in the PCL, with OKC 1.5 games back. Seeing as we aren't even halfway through the season, I asked Aviators manager Fran Reardon if it's too early to really take the standings into consideration. Here's what the skipper had to say.
I don't think it's too early. You want to be the best. You want to be the best team in the league wherever you're playing, whatever level you're coaching, playing, whatever the situation is. You want to be the best. So I know the players look. I know, the people that I talk to in the organization are looking, and it's exciting. It's exciting to be in this position. It's something I want the guys to embrace because we want to have a winning culture here. We want to have a preparation for doing great things in the postseason, and hopefully that translates to the major league level, but it starts here and it starts at every level in the minor leagues.
So the Aviators will look to add more to the win column in the current series against Tacoma to give themselves a little cushion and breathing room in the PCL standings. And Aviators fans, don't forget you can watch select games all season long right here on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network. Your next opportunity will be Wednesday, June 11th, when the team takes on Salt Lake City.
Okay, don't go anywhere. Coming up next, the Orioles come to town. We're breaking down the A's next matchup versus Baltimore. That's after the break.
But first, it's time for our second trivia question of the day. And after talking about the most legendary manager in A's history a few minutes ago, let's bring it back to the present. We're going to talk about the guy who's got the head job right now, Mark Kotsay. He was a top 10 pick back in the '96 draft, and he wound up playing a few years with the A's. One of his teammates in Oakland, all 4 of these guys were, but only one of them was picked one spot after him in that '96 draft. But who was it? Was it Tim Hudson, Marco Scutaro, Eric Chavez, or Erubiel Durazo? That's one of the better baseball names. I got the answer after the break.
You're watching Covering the Bases with the A's.
All right, we're back with the answer to the question, which longtime Athletics player was taken by the A's just one spot after their current manager, Mark Kotsay, in the '96 draft? It was third baseman Eric Chavez. You might remember this guy. He was a power hitter, 6th in franchise history in home runs. He even hit more than Jason Giambi in the green and gold. He also played amazing defense at third base, winning 6 Gold Gloves. No Athletics player in history has more than that. In the 8 years Chavez was the starting third baseman for the A's, he was obviously a winner. The team averaged 94 wins a year with him starting at the hot corner, and they won 4 division titles.
Welcome to fabulous Las Vegas, where the lights never dim and the energy never fades. The sports and entertainment capital of the world. But it wasn't always that way. This is a city that's mastered the art of reinvention. So why not do it again? A's baseball is coming to Las Vegas in 2028. They say good things come to those who wait, but we're not here to be good. We're here to be great, and we're not waiting. The Neon City is about to shine even brighter and a whole lot greener. Every day, every play. This patch is more than a statement, it's a promise. Las Vegas, we're coming.
A's fans get priority access to purchase season tickets in Las Vegas for just $19.01.
Right now, current A's season ticket members, Aviators season ticket holders, as well as Clark County residents who secure their spot on the priority access list will receive purchase priority ahead of the general fan. For more information, just visit athletics.com/Vegas.
All right, meanwhile, on Tuesday, the A's announced the upcoming inductees for the Athletics Hall of Fame. Two-time All-Star pitcher with the A's, Tim Hudson. Another two-time All-Star pitcher for the A's, Tim Mulder, as well as Barry Zito, a three-time All-Star. All three of these guys, teammates on those awesome teams from the early 2000s. Plus, longtime voice of the A's, Monty Moore, also will be inducted. So congratulations to those four studs. But now it's on to the Orioles for our guys, Kev.
Yeah, after 4 with the Twins, the A's continued playing at home with a weekend series against Baltimore. The AL East last place Baltimore Orioles, but Mike, a team with a lot of young talent like the A's.
Oh yes, just a 3-game series there at Sutter Health Park Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Now this is a team last year that was red hot, winning 91 games, but this season has been super disappointing for them, sitting last in the AL East with only 22 wins. So Kevin, how big of an opportunity is this for the A's to just get back on track?
Well, at some point things have to turn around. It's the law of averages. This team really just too talented to have that happen. So it's going to be interesting to see how the week and the weekend plays out. That is a wrap for us on Covering the Bases. We thank you so much for joining us. For all of our crew here and Mike Davis, I'm Kevin Bollinger.
All right, we'll see you next time. Go A's. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back next week.